So today is July 31st, 2018, and we are headed to our infertility clinic to meet with the doctor for our first official IVF appointment.
Woohoo!
To hopefully get some answers and to figure out about testing and schedule wise to see what our next steps are and to get some answers to some questions. So we are running a little behind, but that's okay. We have our binder ready with questions typed out and printed. They probably think that I'm super OCD and make fun of me, but it's okay.
That's
as long as we get
better to be prepared than not to be.
That's right. So once we get done with our clinic appointment, we will come back and update then. So we just finished our visit with Dr. Kute at the fertility clinic. Art was nice and dropped me off at the front, so I ran up and got my co-payments done, and they went ahead and called me back really fast, so he wasn't even there at first. So they did my weight and blood pressure, which was a little high, but she said it could be that I had just walked in there and was kind of nervous and everything. So she put me in a room, and of course by then Art had got up there, so they brought him right on back, and we didn't have to wait long at all today, actually.
No.
I figured it was going to be a lot longer. But Dr. Kute came in, and it had been a year or so since we had met with him, so he had to go over everything that we did before and then everything that we've gone on since then with my autoimmune disorder and the urology appointments with Art and the medicines that we're on currently. So after we did that, he went over the two options with us, one being that, well, at first he didn't recommend that we do the sperm retrieval and the egg retrieval at the same time. His reasoning was that it's very hard to coordinate and that it might be on a Saturday or a Sunday when the urologist wouldn't be able to do his surgery, and they'd have to be scrambling around, and that's really not the kind of environment we want to go in. So the two options are, one, to do my egg retrieval and freeze my eggs and then do one cycle, so to let my body calm down from the fertility medicine, and then do the sperm retrieval, grow the embryos for 5 days, and then transfer. So it would be like a fresh transfer, but with the frozen cycles results, which would be really good. The second option would be to do the sperm retrieval first, probably get immature sperm, possibly, chance freezing them, and then lose 85%. He gave us some percentage of sperm that we would lose, so we weren't really sure if we wanted to go that route. So we're leaning more towards right now doing the egg retrieval first. But before we get to that point, we have to get my body ready, and we had to do an ultrasound for an antral follicle count, which I will have a little video of it that I will put here. And then we did the follicle count, and then we did blood work. So I had to have 14 tubes of blood taken, which if I would remember from before, then I should probably eat before I go to these appointments. And then poor Art had to get his 4 tubes, maybe 5. He wasn't sure. He didn't look to count.
No.
So he got a milkshake. He's okay now. And so we have to wait for those results to come back to see, one, if the medicine is working for Art to help increase the chances of them finding sperm, and then also to see what my levels are, to see how much medicine that we're going to need and what protocol we're going to use. He went ahead and gave me kind of a baseline so I could start looking, gave me an app that I could use to find the cheapest prices of medicines to help us with as far as that goes. Of course, I always leave there feeling like I have more questions than answers. I think that's just infertility, period, is you constantly want to know more and more and more, but you just get told little bits and pieces, and then you have to hurry up and wait for weeks and weeks. So the next step is to go get some prescriptions filled now, because I have to take a medicine called Prometrium in order to cause my body to have a cycle, and I need to get his Clomid refilled. Then I also need to get a prescription filled for birth control, because I have to start taking birth control, which I know seems counterproductive. We're trying to make a baby. Why would you take birth control? But it's really just to calm my ovaries down before we start pumping them up with some medicine to stimulate them. And then I also have to get a refill for my metformin. There's a big controversy between Dr. Kute and my rheumatologist, Dr. Chapman, right now about whether or not I should be taking a medicine called Plaquenil for my autoimmune disease. Dr. Chapman told us in the office that it would be okay to do IVF and to have a pregnancy and postpartum and breastfeed while taking the Plaquenil, but it seems like today, whenever I just printed off her records last night so that I could have them for Dr. Kute today, and it seems as if she put in her notes that pregnancy was not recommended while on this medication. So Dr. Kute is just going to send a note to her office to kind of clarify if she feels that it would be okay or it's not okay. He kind of looked up the medicine on his database and said that it was, what did he say, babe? That it was not
Recommended?
That it was not recommended, but if it was started beforehand, before conception on a low dose, then it would possibly be okay to take. But we just want to make sure that we're doing everything right. So we don't want me to end up having lupus or to progress into lupus, but we also don't want to risk harming our baby before our baby's even a baby yet. So he's going to check on that for us. So next step will be to wait and hear back about our lab results and hear from the nurse at the clinic and see if they've heard from Dr. Chapman's office.
Yep.
So since we had to both be stuck and I had to have an ultrasound and all that, we went to the mall to treat ourselves. So we did get Art a milkshake, and I got some truffles from Godiva. And then my sister-in-law was very sweet and came and see me on my birthday and gave me a gift card to Bath and Body Works. So we went and got some smell goods for the house. So I'm excited to get those plugged in the living room and our bathroom. We got some really good smells to go. And then we went to get some food, and now we're headed to the house to see my mom, who's waiting anxiously for an update. So I will update whenever we find out our lab results.